Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your recording for lesson 2-4, solving equations with variables on both sides. So you can take a look here and see so far we've been solving things that look like this. Okay, if you look at the first one, 48 minus 2x equals 18, and the second one, x divided by 3 plus 7 equals 10. You only have a variable on one side. So we're going to move into solving variables on both sides. What do you do when there is a variable on both sides? Well, the first thing you need to try and do is simplify each side separately. Simplify each side separately. Okay, I think I've spelled that wrong. Maybe that's better. I'm not sure. So you're going to look at the left. Can I distribute anything? Can I combine anything? Look at the right. Can I distribute? Can I combine anything? Once you've accomplished that, then you will collect all variables on one side. I typically tell students to move the smaller variable. Move the smaller variable over. There's going to be less error with positives and negatives if you do that. All right, so let's jump right into it here. You can see in number 1 that there are C's on both the left side and the right side. Okay, there's a C right here and a C right here. So ask yourself, can I distribute anything? Can I combine anything on the left or on the right? Well, if you look at the left, I can't put anything together there. If you look at the right, I can't put anything together there. So we're going to collect all the C's to one side, and in order to do that, I'm going to move the smaller one over. Well, 5 C's are smaller than 7 C's. So I'm going to subtract that 5C over. Those will cancel, and I get 8 equals 2C minus 2. Now that we look at this, this is back to a multi-step equation. Now I just need to isolate the C. So farthest away from the C, I'm going to add that 2. I get 10 equals 2C. I'll divide by the 2, and I get C is 5. Of course, you can check yourself. You can plug it in. That's the left side. This is the right side. Do they actually equal each other? 5 times 5 is 25. Plus 8. 25 plus 8 is what? 33. Over on the other side, 7 times 5 is 35. Minus 2 does give me 33. So you can see that both sides equal each other. Therefore, 5 would be the correct solution. Don't be scared off by the fractions in number 2. Ask yourself, can I combine or distribute anything on the left? Can I combine or distribute anything on the right? The answer is no. So now we're going to move the smaller q over. Well, 1/6 is smaller than 5/6. So I'm going to subtract that. I get 2/3 q on the left. If you do 5/6 minus 1/6, that's 4/6, which reduces to 2/3. And it looks something like that. Now we're back to a multi-step equation. We're going to isolate the q. I get 1/3 equals 2/3 q. In order to isolate that, we will go ahead and divide by 2/3, or of course, multiply by the reciprocal. I get q equals 1/3 divided by 2/3 is going to be 1/2. Okay, if we look at number 3, this time we've got some parentheses we want to get rid of first. I can do some distributing before I start collecting my variables. Make sure you distribute to everything in the parentheses. Now that I'm here, I'm going to move my smaller n over. 9n minus 7 is equal to -6. Now we're going to isolate that n. And you get a 9th. Same idea over here in number 4. Let's distribute first. Okay, making sure we distribute to everything in the parentheses. Now we're going to move the smaller variable over. And now we're going to isolate the q. Okay, so there we had to distribute on both sides. If we take a look here at number 5, you'll notice the left side does not have anything to distribute or combine. But on the right side, I can distribute the -1, which looks like that. And then I can combine the 2 with the 4. So I have -x plus 6 on the right side, and then I'm going to go ahead and drop this left side down. Now, I'm going to move my smaller x over. -5 is smaller than -1. So I'm going to cancel that out by adding it. Looks like that. Then we're going to isolate the x and finish it off by dividing. I get x is -4. Okay. Moving over to the other side, go ahead and distribute and combine. I'll give you about a minute or so to do that. Now you'll notice after I combine here, it looks something like that. So neither of those variables are smaller. Okay, so I'm just going to pick one and I'm going to move it over. And I have 7 equals, and there's nothing left on the right-hand side. So if there's nothing left, we use 0. Well, if you look at this and you see that there's nothing left, this says 7 equals 0. Is 7 equals 0 a true statement or a false statement? Well, 7 does not equal 0. It will never equal 0, so it was false. That means there is no solution to this equation. There is no number that I can plug up there for n that will make the left-hand side equal the right side. Nothing will work. Number 7, let's go ahead and distribute here. Again, make sure you pause, write the question down, start working it out, and then pick up with my explanation. So if I look at the right-hand side, I can put the 11 and the 15 together, and I can put these b's together. So I get 4b plus 4, and then b plus 7 is over here on the left. Move your smaller b over. Get rid of that 4. Divide by the 3, and I get that b is 1. All right, you pause it. Stop this video. Distribute, combine, see what you get. When you're done, unpause it and see how your work compares to my work. All right, so I'm all the way down to the end here, and I have 6 equals 6. There's no variables left. Ask yourself, does 6 in fact equal 6? Yes, 6 equals 6, and it will always equal 6. Therefore, there are infinite solutions to this problem. All real numbers will work. Any number you can think of to plug in there for v will make the left-hand side equal the right side. Let's try it. What if I say v is 0? If I put a v as 0 right here, that side is going to be 6. If I put a v as 0 right here, let's see here, that will be 7 times 0 is 0, plus 5 is 5, times 2 is 10, minus 4 is 6. So I do get 6 equals 6. You'll notice it works, okay? This has all real numbers as a solution. All right, here we go again. Okay, now that I've got everything simplified, I am going to move my smaller j over. Now I'm going to isolate that j. And j is 1. All right, this is my last one before we move over to your handout. So why don't you go ahead, pause the video, distribute, combine. Let's see how you do. Okay, so I came down to a true statement. -9 does equal -9, so my answer here is all real numbers. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's go to your handout. Let's see about writing our own equations and then solving them. All right, so here we go. We are going to translate this into an algebraic equation. We're going to solve. Make sure you tell me what your variables are if I don't give them to you. All right, this says tripling the greater of 2 consecutive even integers. So if they're even, they're 2 apart. So those are my 2 integers. It says tripling the greater. So if I want to triple it, that means multiplying by 3. Tripling the greater of 2 consecutive even integers gives the same result as, so that's equals, subtracting 10 from the lesser even integer. Subtracting 10 from the lesser even integer. What are the integers? So here's where you're going to pause it, you're going to solve it, and you're going to see how you did. So if -8 is my first integer, if I add 2 to it, I get -6. So those would be my 2 consecutive even integers. Find the value of each of the figures have the same area. Well, these figures are triangles. To find the area of a triangle, you do 1/2 base times height. So let's call this triangle A. Let's call this triangle B, and we'll start with triangle A. 1/2 base times height. So half of 6 is 3. So this is really 3h. Please notice I only multiply. There's no distributing happening here. That's one big old multiplication problem. If I look at triangle B, if I go 1/2 base times height, it looks like that. Half of 10 is 5. And I want the areas to be equal. So here's where we're going to distribute. Move your smaller h over. Isolate your h. And you get h is 5. So if h is 5, the area of those 2 triangles are equal. I also could follow up with this and say, what is the area of that triangle or those triangles? So you would take that 5 and you would plug it in. So 1/2 times base times height, that'd be half of 30. So it looks like 15 would be the area of those triangles. Let's try a perimeter one. Remember, for perimeter, we have to add up all the sides. I will call this rectangle A. I'll call this rectangle B. If I'm going to find the perimeter of A, remember there's 2 x's and 2 of those 6, the sides of 6. So this is really 2x plus 12. If I look at rectangle B, remember there's 2 of those x's and there's 2 of that long 2x plus 2 side. So if I distribute here, it looks like that. And then if I combine my like terms, it looks like that. So we'll put an equal sign between them since they want them to be the same, and we will solve. So x is 2. Okay, so if I wanted to ask you the area of those, I would take and substitute that in. If I asked you what the area was, basically it'd be 6 times 2, which would be 12 for the area. If I asked you for the perimeter, it would be 12 plus 4 would be 16 for the perimeter. And again, it wouldn't matter which one you plug that in for. You still should get the same thing regardless. All right, one more here. Go ahead and read it. I want the member and the non-member to pay the same price. So let's start with a member. If you are a member, you pay $275. You also pay $5 per day for the water park. If you're a non-member, you pay $6 for parking. That's every time you come, every day. You pay $15 to get in every time you come, and you pay $9 for the water park every day that you come. Okay, so if I want these things to be equal, it looks like I've got some combining of those D's to do over there for the non-member. Let's see here. 6 and 9 is 15, plus another 15 makes 30. Now we will go ahead and solve. And then when you divide, you should get x is 11. So that means if I'm going to come more than 11 times, I should become a member. If I'm going to come less than 11 times, it would make more sense for me not to be a member. All right, so go ahead and complete your notes check, and I will see you tomorrow.